Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us at Central Alabama Electric Cooperative's 2020 virtual annual meeting. We will begin at 4 o'clock with the segment entitled Charged Up about electric vehicles. Thank you for joining us at Central Alabama Electric Cooperative's 2020 virtual annual meeting. We will begin at 4 o'clock with a segment entitled Charged Up about electric vehicles. Thank you for joining us at Central Alabama Electric Cooperative's 2020 virtual annual meeting. We will begin at 4 o'clock with the segment entitled Charged Up about electric vehicles. Thank you for joining us at Central Alabama Electric Cooperative's 2020 virtual annual meeting. We will begin at 4 o'clock with a segment entitled Charged Up About Electric Vehicles. Thank you for joining us at Central Alabama Electric Cooperative's 2020 virtual annual meeting. We will begin at 4 o'clock with a segment entitled Charged Up About Electric Vehicles. Welcome to Central Alabama Electric Cooperative's 2020 virtual annual meeting. We are excited to have you join us today. Make sure to stay tuned until the end of this session to find out how to get your $10 bill credit. We will begin momentarily with our segment entitled Charged Up About Electric Vehicles. These virtual sessions are designed to be interactive, and we want to hear from you. You can text your questions to 334-595-9535 or email them to communications@coop.caec.com. Now, let's get charged up about electric vehicles with Energy Services Representative Derek Blankenship.
Good afternoon. Today, like you've seen in our time, we're going to be talking about electric vehicles. As we've seen more of these vehicles on our streets, and we've seen these charging stations on our local retailers, we've been getting a lot of questions about these vehicles. Because of this interest, CAEC has 2 electric vehicles for the purposes of research, demonstration, and to be able to help you as a member to be able to make the right choice when it comes to your future purchase. Today we want to answer some of the most common questions that we've been getting from you. And if you have your own specific questions, feel free to give us to text us at the number on the screen. The first question that we get asked, and it's the number one question, is how much does an electric vehicle cost? Most people think that the electric vehicle costs a lot more than what it really does. But on average, an electric vehicle costs around 30% more than its gas equivalent. Now when you look at the cost, this is going to be dependent on 2 factors, the brand and the battery size. You'll find some brands has the vehicle as low as $31,000 before any kind of tax credits or incentives, both locally and nationally. The second factor is going to be the battery size. Most models will have a battery size from low range all the way to extended range, and they look at that for the miles that are offered on those batteries. Because of that increase in range, that price will increase as well. But that's just the first part of the cost. If we want to look at the entire life of the vehicle, we want to look at how much it costs to fill that vehicle or charge that vehicle up. You'll see on the graph, charging an electric vehicle will be half the cost of its gas counterpart. If you'll see, maybe your power bill may increase by $30 to $40 a month if you're charging at home all the time, but your gas bill, what you're paying for filling that vehicle up with gas, will be decreased by about $70 to $80. So if you look at that for a yearly time, instead of paying $700 to $800 for gas, you're going to pay closer to around $400 for just for that new electric vehicle. So that cost is going to decrease. The other part of it that's going to decrease is going to be your maintenance cost. When you talk about now you have no oil because you have an electric motor, so that oil cost goes down completely. So with the decrease in maintenance cost, the decrease in fuel charge and fuel cost, that price of that vehicle now is going to be very attainable for many people. The next thing we see is once we know what the cost is now where and how do I charge the vehicle? Well, there are 2 places that you can charge the vehicle. You can charge it at home, you can charge it in the public. When you're charging it at home, there are 2 levels of charging that you can use. The first is level 1, and this is a 110 volt that uses a regular wall outlet. This is going to be used from a cable that's going to be provided to your car from the manufacturer. The second level is going to be the level 2, and this is going to be used on a 220 volt outlet similar to a dryer outlet, or it can also be hardwired into the house. Now as level 1, you can only charge this vehicle, it takes about 24 hours to fully charge on level 1, but on level 2, it can charge up to 8 hours. So it's a much faster, a much more efficient way to charge this vehicle. Now you can have these installed in your home, and we would recommend you doing so if you purchase one. The other level is now for the public side. In public, you can also use a level 1 or a level 2, but in public you'll use a level 3 charging station. You can find one. Now level 3 is going to be a utility grade charging station, and these can charge your vehicle about 80% full in 30 minutes or less. Now the question may come in is, where are these level 3 charging stations located? Right now in Alabama, there are only about 10 locations that have level 3 charging stations. However, the state has enacted the Alabama Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Plan. In this plan, they are wanting to schedule level 3 charging stations to be installed everywhere from our main highways and our interstates, and they will be within 50 miles of each other. With this plan enacted, it'll make long distance travel very easy. And there's already money allocated for this program. So keep a lookout for that as well. And when we look at these charging stations and we talk about being for a long distance, another question we get is, how far will these vehicles go on a single charge? Most vehicles have a bare minimum of 200 miles per charge, and that's that low range we talked about. It can go, and there's even some for the extended range will get above 300 miles on a charge. There are manufacturers who are announcing vehicles coming in the next model will reach 400 and plus miles, getting us very close to what a full tank of gas will get on their counterpart. When we look at this, we go, okay, well, now that we want to go on a long distance travel, and you've talked about this part, but how do I know where these charging stations are located? It's a good question. There's a website called www.plugshare.com. On this website, you will put in your location, your destination, and the type of vehicle that you own, and it will plot out your route, or multiple routes depending on which way you would like to go. The other part of this is you would want to take it and put it on an app. You'd want to download the app onto your phone, because when you're traveling, like we always do, we may have a detour, may something come up, it'll guide you and let you know where the next available station is when you're going there. Now, when you're going on a long distance trip and you've never used your electric vehicle to that location, you want to call and verify that that charging station that may show to be there is still active and working. So you want to make sure you have a good charging spot where you're going. It looks like we have a question that's come in.
Hi, Derek. Talking about long distance trips and the mileage we can get, the question came in is, what if you run out of electricity and you're on the side of the road?
That's a very good question, and that's a very big issue. A lot of people are worried about this called range anxiety. Now, what you'd want to do is you want to plan your trip to make sure that you don't run into this situation. You want to have enough miles left that when you charge, you don't run into this issue. However, this problem does occur. This is another reason, one, you want to have the app downloaded so you know where your nearest station is located, but you also find a lot of manufacturers will have a roadside assistance option available. So this is going to be another area where you're going to want to make sure of where you're going and where your local stations are. You want to keep up with where those are going to be. Now, another question we get asked is, what do these vehicles look like? Are they look like normal vehicles like we would see, or are they glorified golf carts? Well, we have the two vehicles here, so let's take a look outside and let's see what they look like. Come on. Let's take a look at our electric co-op vehicles and see the differences between them and their gas counterpart. So the first difference we're going to see is the engine. In an electric vehicle, there is no regular engine, you have an electric motor. So you have one moving part, so it takes away from oil changes, fan belts, spark plugs, etc. So the maintenance is going to be very minimal. So instead of the engine, we now have an electric motor sitting in that spot in vehicles similar to the Chevrolet Bolt. Next, let's look at the Tesla and see what's inside its place where the engine should be. There's nothing here. In vehicles like the Tesla, there are two or more motors and they're located near the bottom. So instead of having an engine, we have extra storage space. Now, we talked a few minutes ago about different levels of charging. Every vehicle comes with a 110 or a level 1 charging cable that you can use anywhere you want. So the next question we get is, how do these vehicles drive? Let's find out. So when entering into the vehicle, one of the first things you're going to notice is the display screen. On the display screen, you can use it for everything. It shows the speedometer, shows a navigation, and even controls of everything in the vehicle, both the software and the hardware of the vehicle. So the next thing we're going to notice is the sound of the vehicle. As you know, it's already started and it's running, but we don't hear anything. What happens even if we rev the engine or if we accelerate? Will we hear anything? No. Very little sound is heard. So one of the main questions we get asked, well, if you can't hear anything, how fast does it really go? Models like the Tesla can go 0 to 60 in roughly 2.5 seconds and has a max speed of 120 miles an hour. Do you want to know what that looks like? So just like we talked about before, we're using a level 2 charging station. So every time you drive, you want to make sure you charge up the vehicle so that you have a full battery. Very simple. Just take the cord and plug it in. And now the car's charging. So So let's head back inside and finish our conversation. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that little trip we had outside. One of the things we did at the very end there is we always plugged our vehicle in after our driving. This is also going to help with making sure that we don't get stuck on the side of the road. I always want to make sure that our vehicles are being charged up every time we drive. So it looks like we had some questions since that video.
Hey, Derek. Yeah, we had some. One was, somebody was, that looked like a lot of fun. Can I drive one of the co-op's electric vehicles or see it?
You are more than welcome to always come up here. Please do call us ahead of time and schedule an appointment with us. At the current moment with the pandemic of the coronavirus, we are not allowing anyone to drive the vehicle, but you can afterwards be able to come in and you can actually drive with a representative with you, and you can ask any questions you may have. Is there another question?
One more. They said they saw our charging station, the one we used. If a member has an electric vehicle, can they utilize that station as well?
Yes, they can. Our station outside of our auditorium and our big parking lot, there is a charging station available, and you are allowed to use that. That is a level 2 charging station that you can plug into and be able to charge your vehicle for free. Now, we have some other opportunities. We talked about the vehicles in general. We've talked about how much they may cost. We've talked about where to charge them, how do we do that. We've talked about how far they go, what they look like, how fun they are to drive, which, trust me, they're pretty fun to drive. But we have some questions that people ask us all the time, specifically for Central Alabama. You guys probably guessed this first one, is I'm not one to drive a sedan all the time. I like driving my truck. I bet you a lot of us like to drive our trucks, and we go, hey, I'll get an electric vehicle if there's a truck. And we get that all the time. As of right now, there are no electric vehicle trucks, fully electric vehicle trucks on the market for purchase. There are 2 companies, however, that have already announced the manufacturing of their vehicles. The first one is from a new company called Rivian. Rivian is producing both a pickup truck and an SUV. And these vehicles, their specs show to be very similar to a regular pickup truck that we see out on the streets today. And these vehicles are shown to be able to be manufactured come 2021. The second company is already a known company in the electric industry, in the electric vehicle industry, and that's Tesla. And they've come out and they've announced their truck called the Cybertruck. And this vehicle, they've shown manufacturing and production to be able to be started in 2022. So these are both vehicles that you can already pre-order and you can be ready for them. And they look like they're going to be vehicles that'll be very well for that kind of vehicle, for being a pickup truck. Now, other brands have said that they are getting ready to announce an electric vehicle pickup truck, but they've just not done it yet. So we're waiting for any specific dates for them to come out. So we do feel that you're going to find electric vehicles getting generated and being able to come out manufacturing in trucks very soon. Looks like we have another question that's come in.
We do. What about an SUV for families? Maybe not necessarily a truck or a car, but something in between.
Now there are some that they claim to be SUVs. They're more sort of to the size of a crossover. But as of right now, there are no fully electric SUVs, but there are some coming. Rivian is that new company I told you. They're going to have an SUV coming out as well. More?
We do. Somebody was asking, what's the difference between an EV, like what we have, and an electric hybrid? How do those compare to each other?
So we've got the fully electric vehicle, the one where there's no gas engine, and there's just the electric motor and the battery that run the entire vehicle. A hybrid is going to be, as it talks about, it's going to have a little bit of both of the gas engine and the electric motor. So you have 2 different kinds of hybrids. Generally, you have the regular hybrid where it takes the gas engine, and that's the main motor that's being used, and it will feed the battery and the engine for the electric side of it, and it'll be able to give you a few miles, usually around 20 to 50 miles depending on the brand. You also have what's called a plug-in hybrid. This is going to be one where you will plug in just like we do with our fully electric, and you'll have a spot to fill the gas tank, and you'll have a spot to charge with a cord. Now, do not get those confused. You do not want to put gas in the electric side, and you don't want to try to put the cord into the gas part. It won't work. However, you will be able to get a bigger battery, be able to get more miles on the electric side with a plug-in hybrid vehicle. So be sure to know which one you're purchasing if you decide to go with a hybrid vehicle. Looks like we have another question that's come in.
We do. Someone is wondering, since we know a lot about this, is there a forecast for electrical vehicles? Do you think they'll fade out internal combustion vehicles?
That's a very good question. The answer is we're not sure yet. This is a new product, but a lot of the experts, a lot of the industry does seem to think that this is going to be that next phase where we're going to go from the gas engine to this fully electric. And this is going to be something that's going to come, and there's forecast models or time frames that talks about this, and some for many years away, and some that say it could come within 2-3 years. Just depends on how fast that goes. But I will say that the biggest component that's going to make this adoption to electric vehicles grow faster is the increase in infrastructure of the level 3 charging stations. So, one of the final questions we get, and this is one we get a lot, they'll tell you, Derek, you've told me how much it is. You've told me all this great stuff. You've said, man, this is an awesome area. And when I go to a dealership, I can't find one. Well, in Central Alabama area, especially out where we are, there's very few dealerships that will have them. And if they do, they have maybe 1 or 2 vehicles on site. So if you're wanting to purchase one, you may have to travel outside of our area towards Birmingham or even towards into the state in Georgia to be able to purchase one. If you want to get one of the Tesla models, you will have to travel all the way to Atlanta, as that's their closest dealership. Now, you also have the ability to purchase one online. But if you do that, I would strongly suggest to going and getting a test drive of one. So again, you may have to travel out of the state, or you may have to travel to Georgia or up towards Birmingham or further to be able to test drive one, but know what you're getting before you purchase it. You don't want to get one without knowing exactly what you're getting for your dollars. Be sure to do that before you actually purchase one and do it online. So have there been any more questions that have come in?
Yes, we have several to deal with cost. The first one is, someone's asking about the average cost of a vehicle, or is there what would be a lower price model if someone's just looking at, trying the waters and see how it goes?
Well, we have several brands. Most major manufacturing are making these electric vehicles. Right now, one of the cheaper ones is going to be when I say cheaper, I mean in cost, not in the ability of the vehicle, is the Nissan Leaf. You can purchase a Nissan Leaf before tax credits, before incentives, around $31,000, around that ballpark. And again, it depends on the manufacturer. Some are going to be more higher ends, but again, it's going to be based on that brand. So if you have a brand that you really like, they're probably going to be coming out with an electric vehicle very soon.
Okay, still on the cost thought there. What about federal incentives, credits, anything like that could help with the purchase of one?
There are some federal credits that are available right now. They are through tax credits. Most of them are going to be through the manufacturer. So you will need to check because it's based on how many they've sold. So each manufacturer has a different amount of rebate available. So you'd want to check with the manufacturer before purchasing one. And you may also want to check with your accountant, the person who's owing your taxes, to verify that you are eligible for that tax credit as well.
Okay, still on the cost. So very financial. Usually, how much is it to charge your vehicle at a charging station on the highway or in a public place?
So charging them in the public arena is very difficult to give a specific answer because a lot of them are based on the different levels. So again, we talked about the level 2 and the level 3. Now on level 2 charging areas, most of these are going to be found in restaurants, hotels, they're going to be found in malls or outlets, places like that where you're going to spend some time. And most of them are offering this as a free service. So it depends on where you're going. They may charge on a sit fee, so you may have to pay per minute, and that'll be dependent on the retailer or the hotel. It'll also depend on how they're going to charge you. So it could be per minute, it could be just for the charge. Most of the time in the public for a level 2, it's going to be free. When you look at a level 3 charging station, that is a little different. They will charge sometimes the same way per minute. They'll charge for the amount of electricity that you've generated or that you've consumed from them to charge your car. They could charge in multiple ways. So it's very specific on which brand that you're charging with, also where you're charging, because different states also show the different costs on that as well. But most, when you're charging a level 2, it's probably going to be free in this area.
A question regarding, I guess, when you just mentioned the states, do you know if the state itself in Alabama has a plan to roll out any additional charging stations or funding for that?
There is one with the Alabama Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Plan. They have this plan to be able to install level 3 charging stations on major highways and interstates. Now this plan has just begun and it just got announced a few months ago. So it's going to be one where they're going to start in certain areas where there's long distance travel is more often done. And their plan is to put these charging stations within 50 miles of each other. Again, allowing people to have a long distance travel without the worry of getting stuck on the side of the road. So this way they can charge in multiple spots.
Okay, we still have some more. What about the old batteries of these? How are they recycled for those that might be concerned about the environment?
Now, these batteries, the original batteries were warranted for about 10 years, and they can last a little bit longer. These newer batteries, they're being tested, or they're being manufactured and warranted for about up to 20 years. So they're lasting a very long time when they're doing that. And most manufacturers, when they are changing the batteries in a vehicle, they are reusing those and recycling them into the newer vehicles. So they're taking almost, I think it's 99% of the materials for electric batteries are being reused for the newer battery systems.
We may be convincing some people, because someone wants to know, how much would it roughly cost to get a level 2 charger installed in their home, and is there anything special they need to do for that? Do they need an electrician to come do that for them?
When it comes to the level 2 and putting it hardwired into your house, it is recommended to have an electrician do that, and those prices vary depending on the electrician and how long it takes to do so. Depending on where that charging station is located to your breaker box, then it'll be the amount of wire that goes there, have to drill into, so that becomes part of it. But on average, to purchase a station, you're going to see the cost anywhere from $200 to maybe $500 for that charging station. So not a whole lot of money in respect of everything else, but you're going to see where that cost is going to save you in the long run for your vehicle.
Another one. How about, what is CAEC and the cooperative? Do we have any special programs or rebates or anything in the rates or anything for our electric vehicle owners?
Well, at the moment, CAEC is still in the research stage. We do not have any programs available at the moment, but it is something that we are looking into. As you can tell, we've got a lot of information, and now we're trying to figure out what's going to be best for you as a member.
What about service? If they have an EV, are there any service sites here in Alabama for repairs or, common things that may just happen?
Well, we have to worry about that because we have to get the oil changed every month, right? Wait a minute, there's no oil in this. There's very little moving parts in this vehicle. It's the electric motor. The thing that you're going to have to do on average is going to be replace the windshield wiper fluid and maybe get your tires balanced and rotated. For the most part, that's the main maintenance you're going to have. Now, when it comes to checking the vehicle, when it comes to doing some more specific maintenance to the vehicle, that'll be dependent on the brand. Where companies like Tesla, you'll have to go to a Tesla certified center to have anything specific checked. They also have the ability to have one brought to you, a mobile service. I would again check with each manufacturer, like Chevrolet, Nissan, check with them beforehand, especially the dealership that you purchased the vehicle from, to find out a certified person who can work on the vehicles for you if you have a specific issue with your vehicle.
All right, I think we have time for one last question here. You just mentioned a couple brands. And the auto industry, of course, is a very big thing here in Alabama.
Yes.
And so do we know how, other companies that may be looking at branching onto more EV vehicles, adding that to what they offer customers?
Well, we do. There's some brands out there right now, or some major manufacturers like GM has just announced the production, I think, of close to 20 vehicles, and many of those will be some type of electric, whether it's the hybrids we talked about or a fully electric vehicle. So there's multiple brands, and almost every major manufacturer, not only in the country, but out overseas, is also beginning to manufacture these electric vehicles. So we're seeing these come out from most manufacturers right now. Well, guys, we thank you for all of these questions. And as you prepare to purchase your next vehicle, an electric vehicle is a great option for most people. If you have any questions about the purchase, the ownership, or any other concerns, please feel free to give us a call. And you can reach me at 1-800-545-5735 and 178. Thanks and enjoy the rest of the meeting.
Thank you, Derek, for the exciting information about electric vehicles. For those who have been tuned into this session, here's how to receive your $10 bill credit. Please be ready to write down this information. As a reminder, only one bill credit per member. You will need the code VEHICLE for the following steps. Text the word VEHICLE to 833-494-0823. Again, text the word VEHICLE to 833-494-0823. Or you can visit surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit to be guided through a series of questions. Again, that's www.surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit and enter the code VEHICLE. The code VEHICLE will expire at the start of the next session, which begins at 4:35 p.m. For those of you who have been tuned in to this session, here's how to receive your $10 bill credit. Please be ready to write down this information, and as a reminder, only one bill credit per member. You will need the code VEHICLE for the following steps. Text the word VEHICLE to 833-494-0823. That's VEHICLE to 833-494-0823. Or you can visit surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit to be guided through a series of questions. Again, that's www.surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit and enter the code VEHICLE. As a reminder, the code VEHICLE will expire at the start of the next session, which begins at 4:35 p.m. For those of you who have been tuned into this session, here's how to receive your $10 bill credit. Please be ready to write down this information. As a reminder, only one bill credit per member. You will need the code VEHICLE for the following steps. Text the word VEHICLE to 833-494-0823. Again, text the word VEHICLE to 833-494-0823. Or you can visit surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit to be guided through a series of questions. Again, that's www.surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit and enter the code vehicle. As a reminder, the code vehicle will expire at the start of the next session, which begins at 4:35 p.m. Welcome to Central Alabama Electric Cooperative's 2020 virtual annual meeting. We are excited to have you join us today. Make sure to stay tuned until the end of this session to find out how to get your $10 bill credit. If you have entered a code from another session, there is no need to enter one again, as there is one $10 credit per member. We will begin momentarily with our segment entitled Expensive Home Problems and How to Pay for Them. These virtual sessions are designed to be interactive, and we want to hear from you. You can text your questions to 334-595-9535 or email them to communications@coop.caec.com. Now, let's learn about expensive home problems and how to pay for them with Energy Services representative Cindy Browder.
Hello, how are you today? How are you in the situation where you're facing a challenge of having to replace your heating and cooling unit or your water heater, or maybe another costly energy efficient product? Well, your co-op's here to help you meet that challenge with ease with our loan program, our water heater rebate program, and our heat pump rebate program. Well, what about if you aren't in the market of getting those things right now? We understand that at some point they have to be replaced. And when they do, we want you to replace them with energy efficient heat pumps or a tanked electric water heater. We currently have some programs available. And if you just simply visit our website at www.caec.coop, you'll see the Member Services Benefits tab, the types of rebates that we currently offer. They're split into sections. On a standard built house, we offer a rebate on a dual fuel heat pump, which is the type of unit that uses gas as a backup heat source, and a mini split system, which is a ductless system that has zone heating and cooling. We offer also rebates on our manufactured homes, on the existing as well as new. On the standard built homes for those dual fuel mini splits, we give a rebate in the amount of $300 to $350 per ton based on the seasonal energy efficiency rating. And on those manufactured homes, if you're installing on an existing home and you're replacing your electric furnace, we'll give you $400 per ton. If you buy a new home, we'll go so far as even to pay the cost difference for you to upgrade to a more efficient heat pump. We actually have one of our very own employees who was able to take advantage of the manufactured home rebate program. Let's take a listen and see what Mackenzie McLean's experience was with that manufactured home rebate program.
In 2018, we utilized the heat pump rebate program that's offered by Central Alabama Electric. When we purchased our manufactured home, we discussed the energy saving options that you would have, because obviously everybody always says if you live in a manufactured home, your bills are going to be more expensive. So how could we save those, especially with being an all electric home? The best way that we figured out to save it was with a heat pump. So we contacted Central Alabama Electric. Because I work here, I was actually able just to go upstairs and talk to our Energy Services department, which is a great department that we have here at the co-op that not just does heat pump rebates, but also can guide you on ways to save money in your home, as well as several other reimbursement options that we have for improvements that you make to your home. As far as the process went with the heat pump, it was so simple. We told them that we were interested. They told us what we needed to do. So we let who we were purchasing our manufactured home from know that we would like a heat pump. They upgraded the unit whenever our home was delivered. And we took pictures of the serial numbers and sent them over to the Energy Services Department, signed a form, and a few weeks later we had a check for the upgrade that we had made. With this process, it was so easy. It really made no sense to not utilize it whenever this was going to save us so much money. So when we utilized the rebate program, we have not just saved money, but we've extremely benefited from the fact that in the summertime, we don't use nearly as much energy as other manufactured homes use, because either you're in a window unit or you have those standard AC units where it's not pulling that air in from the outside to help cool your home off in the summertime. In the wintertime, our bill does go up a little bit more than it is in the summertime, but compared to others who don't have this unit, it is significantly less. I have really tried to encourage anyone that's purchasing, especially a new manufactured home, talk to the people that you're purchasing it from. Let them know you're interested in the heat pump and contact us. We have several energy service representatives as well as customer service reps that would love to talk with you about this, because these heat pumps are definitely the way to go if you're trying to save money in your home.
Thank you, Mackenzie, for that great testimonial of how well that program worked for you. I see we have a question.
Hey, Cindy. Somebody was wondering, what do they have to do to qualify for one of these rebates?
That's a good question. To qualify, they do have to have a licensed or certified heat and cooling dealer to install the unit that they're putting in. They have to get a load calculation done, and that load calculation is simply a calculation that variables are put in to that calculation specific to the member's home that will tell us what size unit to put in that home. And then lastly, they need to provide an invoice showing proof of purchase. Okay, all right. The next area that we're going to talk about is our water heater rebate program. You see, CAEC derives its wholesale power costs from our members' highest electricity usage. That can affect our wholesale power cost and in a sense affect our rates. But however, if you install a peak shaving device, you will help to keep our wholesale power costs down and to keep our rates stable. And as an incentive, we're agreeing to provide you with a rebate based on the size of the water heater that you purchase. If you put a 30 to 50 gallon water heater in your home, we'll give you $235. And if you put an 80 gallon water heater in your home, we'll give you $375. So as you can see, those incentives are really beneficial for you to take advantage. I see we did have another question.
Yes, we do. Well, everyone always wants to know, how much will the PSD, the peak shaving device, cost them, and will they have to maintain it?
Oh, that's a good question. No, you will not have to. There's no cost to you as the member. Our part of our agreement and a responsibility with this rebate, we're going to take care of the costs. We have a contracted electrician that he takes care of the installs, and we are responsible for any maintenance. However, if you do get the incentive on this, you do have to keep that device on your home for at least 2 years. Another question?
Yes, and a very important one.
Okay.
If they have this on their electric hot water heater, will they lose hot water?
Another good question. I get that a lot. No, the way that the event occurs, we call it an event. It's generated from our G&T Power South. And when we do it, that event is so minute on the coldest day of the year, you won't even know. You continue your normal activity, you will not know what is going on because it just delays the reheating process or the reheating cycle. So no, you will not lose hot water. Okay, all right. Okay, the next area that we're going to talk about is our loan program. We realize that sometimes financing is one of the biggest drawbacks to making your home more energy efficient. And we have, with Power South, through an agreement through Power South and Regions Bank, we have a low interest rate loan that has affordable terms, there's no prepayment penalties, and you can do various items, projects with this loan. You can put in new windows, window tinting, exterior doors, new heat pumps, new ductwork or ductwork repair or replacement, skirting, programmable thermostats. There's just so many gamut of things that you can do to make your home more energy efficient. And through that loan with Regions Bank, the interest rates start out at 4.99% interest for a 5-year term and up to 6.99% interest for a 10-year term. So it's very affordable and a term that you would be glad to take part in. And then we have another option through our credit union, Alabama One. And just by simply visiting their website at alabama1.org, you can find out the terms and conditions for that loan. And now we do actually have another testimony from one of our members that was able to take advantage of one of our loans. Let's take a listen and see how this experience was for her.
Hey everyone, my name is Amy Dobbs and I'm joining you today to share with you about the positive experience that I've had with the Cooperative's Energy Efficiency Loan Program. In my situation, I found myself needing to replace my heat pump because it was nearly 2 decades old. It was going to cost a lot to repair the unit that I had, and I was going to be much better off in the long run to go ahead and replace the unit. The heating and cooling company mentioned to me about the Cooperative's Energy Efficiency Loan Program, and so I went to read about it on the Cooperative's website. Once I saw that the interest rate was as low as 5 to 7%, and I could get it through Regions, a bank that was local and familiar to me, then I knew that this was the loan for me, because you just can't find that type of rate anywhere else. Also, another plus is that there's no penalties for paying off the loan early. Next, I contacted Miss Cindy Browder, who handles the loan program, and she guided me through the rest of the process. We scheduled a time for her to come visit and for her to confirm the need for a new heat pump for me. And we also identified other needs, such as more insulation in my attic and replacement of some doors in the future. After the work was performed, she visited once more to confirm the work and verify the paperwork. From there, I contacted Regions, who closed the loan and set up the payments. You or somebody you know needs to replace a heat pump or water heater or perform any other energy efficiency updates, please check out this loan option. I highly recommend it, and Miss Cindy is such a pleasure to work with.
As you could see, that process was very simple, and it was a great opportunity for her to take advantage in her time of need. We thank Amy for that testimonial. Now, just to go back over the qualifications for the loan program, you have to be a member in good standing. You have to either own your property or in the process of purchasing it. You have to hire a licensed contractor. And then lastly, you need to be approved by the lender of your choice. I see we have some questions. Okay.
Yes, we do. Going back on to the rebates, someone was wondering for that, do they actually get an actual check, or is that just credited to their electric bill?
Actually, they have an option. We normally send, because of the size of the rebates that we give, we normally send them a check, but we have had instances where members ask us to apply it to their monthly bill. It's their choice.
In regard to the loan program, can anyone do the work, and how long do they have to complete that work?
That's a good question as well. No, you do need to have a licensed or certified contractor to do the work, since you are getting that loan. And they do have 90 days to complete the work. And that time frame starts at the onset. Once they get approved, that time starts.
For their loan, do they pay that on their bill, or do we send them a bill? How do they pay back that loan?
Okay, that's a good question as well. We actually build the relationship between our members and the lenders. So once we build that relation, connect them to one another, they start their payments to the specific lender. So no, they do not pay it on the bill.
Another one about the loan. What would be the average time frame for that, from applying for it to getting it? Can you kind of walk us through that little process a little bit more about the average time they could think to spend on that?
Yes. On average, if they get the loan approval, they find that out within 24 hours. Sometimes it's a little longer depending on their debt to income ratio. So usually within a 24-hour period, they do know that they've been approved. And then based on when they get the contractor to complete the work, like I said, the 90 days is the time that they have to complete. If they do multiple things, if they want to do a new unit, do windows, we've had people, when you get the Regions loans, it's up to $20,000, and with Alabama One, it's up to $25,000. Okay. Thank you. And as always, we want you to remember that our programs and services are here for you. If you need to reach out to us to help you with assistance with your upgrade needs, please remember to visit our website at caec.coop or reach out to me at 1-800-545-5735, extension 2118. Thank you.
Thank you for the helpful information, Cindy. For those who have been tuned into the session, here's how to receive your $10 bill credit. Please be ready to write down this information. As a reminder, only one bill credit per member. You will need the code HOME for the following steps. Text the word HOME to 833-494-0823. Again, text the word HOME to 833-494-0823. Or you can visit surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit to be guided through a series of questions. Again, that's www.surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit and enter the code HOME. The code HOME will expire at the start of the next session, which begins at 5 p.m. For those who have been tuned into this session, here's how to receive your $10 bill credit. Please be ready to write down this information. As a reminder, only one bill credit per member. You will need the code HOME for the following steps. Text the word HOME to 833-494-0823. Again, text the word HOME to 833-494-0823. Or you can visit www.surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit to be guided through a series of questions. Again, that's www.surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit and enter the code HOME. As a reminder, the code HOME will expire at the start of the next session, which begins at 5 p.m. Welcome to Central Alabama Electric Cooperative's 2020 virtual annual meeting. We are excited to have you join us today. Make sure to stay tuned until the end of this session to find out how to get your $10 bill credit. If you have entered a code from another session, there is no need to enter one again, as there is one $10 credit per member. We will begin momentarily with our segment entitled Central Access Broadband Update. These virtual sessions are designed to be interactive, and we want to hear from you. You can text your questions to 334-595-9535 or email them to communications@coop.caec.com. Now, let's get ready to hear some exciting updates about Central Access from VP of Engineering and Operations Jimmy Gray and VP of Central Access Chris Montgomery.
Hi, I'm Chris. For this segment, we'll be discussing Central Access. We'll have an overview of the project. We'll talk about Phase 1, which is our core ring. We'll talk about Central Access difference. We're going to discuss our grant areas. We'll also talk about moving past Phase 1, and we'll be discussing the much anticipated map. Our fiber construction started last year on August the 5th, where we set out to build a 400-mile fiber ring to our 24 substations and 6 offices. From this, our board of directors approved us to serve customers in proximity to the 400-mile fiber ring. And this is what we call Phase 1, which again is our core ring. To move past this initial phase, it's important for us to have at least a 35% fiber service rate. We're nearly there, and we will reach the goal. So let's talk more about Phase 1. To date, we have over 1,300 customers connected, receiving lightning-fast fiber-to-the-home service from Central Access. Let's see what some of them have to say about their service.
I now know how my grandparents felt when REA brought in electricity, said a customer from Titus. Working from home has been a challenge. Using a hotspot connection, I worked 12 to 14 hours a day because my connection was very slow. Now, I am able to end my day after 8 hours with confidence that I have completed my daily workload. Thank you, Central Access, said a customer from Prattville. I am so elated to have high-speed internet. All of the big companies would not even think about running lines down to 15 homes. However, Central Access did, and I am so very happy, said a customer from Deatsville. Thank you for providing a great product and experience when no other company would, said Wiley B. of Prattville. I'm telling you, this is amazing for the boonies. Thanks to everyone who worked hard and got everyone hooked up as quickly as you did. We greatly appreciate this, especially during these times. I know I can homeschool my children without worry now, said Shawana C. of Deatsville.
I really wanted to move out to the country, and I had actually heard before we bought this land that you were coming. I didn't know that it was going to be this soon, but I knew that eventually we would get something. We had a mobile hotspot that we used. Considering it was in the middle of COVID and I'm a teacher, it was very spotty. I would have to go outside to Zoom with my students. It was really difficult to do it in the house. And if my own children were trying to do their Zoom and I was trying to do my Zoom, usually one of them didn't work. So it was very hard. Well, my child doesn't bug me anymore every single day asking me. He is a gamer, and it was driving him crazy and me crazy because I have to do a lot of things online, and I am the virtual teacher at school, so I needed to do a lot of things there, and he couldn't play his game. So when we got it, we can all do everything, and it is wonderful. In town, it still was terrible. I'm just saying, you couldn't do a lot of things at one time. You know, I might be in my bed.
All right. Continuing, phase one is broken into 4 parts. Part 1 is complete with fiber construction, and home installations continue to take place in this area. And while doing these, our construction crews are completing parts 2, 3, and 4. Phase 1 fiber construction is on track to complete by the end of the year, and installation teams will continue to complete home installations. So next is central access difference. Other than the fact that we're providing fiber service in many areas where no one else has been willing to serve, do you know the central access difference? We're providing lightning fast service using fiber technology. It's the fastest available internet technology. It uses fiber optic cable to transmit large amounts of data quickly. Some providers utilize fiber, but it may not actually go all the way to the home. Central access, you get fiber to the house. That's every house. Coax cable is used in some areas as an old technology. It's not reliable and it's not as fast. So with fiber to the home from central access is the way to go. No outdated coax cable are used here. Our speeds are symmetrical. This means that your download speeds and your upload speeds are the same. This enables you to download information such as movies, websites, gaming, and web meetings, and then upload data when needed. This could be files, pictures, and home movies of your grandchildren. This is only possible with fiber to the home technology. We're locally owned and operated. Even though Central Access is not a co-op, it's guided by the same principles and values as Central Alabama Electric Cooperative. We know the need for service in this area because we live here and we work here too. We're working hard for our neighbors and our friends, and your satisfaction is our top priority. And now here's Jimmy Gray, Vice President of Engineering and Operations, to continue a Central Access review.
Thanks, Chris. Building a fiber to the home broadband network not very profitable, and that's the reason most of our members don't have quality internet service. So to help with this, we've been exploring grants, both federal and state, to help fund our project. And even though we haven't received all of the grants, we have received a few. Extremely grateful for those because they will help build out the broadband network to our entire service area. If you're in one of these grant areas, I know you've heard announcements and you think, here we come, but we have to walk through the steps of the grant to make sure when we build the grant, we get that money for the grant. So if you live outside those grant areas, some of the things the grants have are requirements on when the construction has to be complete. So they can affect the timelines just a little bit. So we're working to both grant areas and outside. We will continue to pursue grants to help support this project. And you can learn more about this in the broadband availability in your role session beginning here at 5:30. Now, as we move on past the core ring, we will need a 35% take rate, and we're almost 90% there. Outside of this grant area, deciding on where to construct will be determined by you, our members. Soon we'll be releasing a map of our service area, breaking it up into zones, and you, our members, will determine the demand for the construction route in the future. This makes it important to let your neighbors know about Central Access and encourage them to follow through, to sign up the process with centralaccess.com. We're also willing to send you some flyers so you can pass out in your community, and we're also willing to host virtual meetings in your neighborhood. Just to give you a scope of our current project, phase one, our core project, includes over a 400-mile ring connecting all of our substations and offices and nearly 1,000 miles of fiber. Now, our entire service area is over 5,500 miles of lines throughout our area. So we got a long ways to go, but we're closer to having service than we've ever been. And most of our area wouldn't have service if we hadn't taken this project on. So in conclusion, we know how critical broadband is, and especially with COVID-19, it only intensified the need. Our goal is to make sure that everyone in our service area who wants high-speed quality access has it. So now, Chris, we'll take some questions if we have any questions that come in.
Yes, we have a couple. A lot of people said they've seen a lot of our crews, very thankfully they've seen a lot of our crews on some of the paved roads, and so that leaves some people more in the rural areas, the dirt roads. Are we going off those as well, or is it mainly just on that main paved core?
With our core going to all of our substations, we're going all through our entire area. We're going down paved roads, dirt roads, no roads, crossing over the rivers. We're going everywhere because our substations serve all of our members. So we'll have fiber at every one of our substations and our offices. So we're scattered all through our service area.
I had another one as well. A lot of people are wanting to know what's going to happen after phase 1. Some people call it phase 2. When do we think that might begin?
You want me to tackle that one?
Go ahead.
All right. After we get the core ring up and get all of our equipment in and fiber between our substations and offices, we're going to start on this. We've got a state grant, and we're starting to work on that. And we have a time period of 2 years to get that in, and we've already started working on that. And after that, it's going to be dependent on the map we release in the zones. And that, like we talked about, the more people that sign up, that will drive where our construction route will go in the future.
I had a question here about Alabama Power customers. A lot of our customers are CAEC members. What if they are not a CAEC member? Would they still be available to have this service?
That's a great question. We are working through the process to get our customers that are on Alabama Power pole lines. What we're working through is there's an attachment agreement that's required for us to legally attach to Alabama Power's pole line. So we're working on that. We're in negotiations. They want us to do it as well. We certainly want to serve all customers that we can reach. So we are working through that process now.
Some people were wondering, they may already have an internet provider. Is there a way that they can check their speed, maybe compare it to what we're offering? Because ours starts at 200, correct? Mm-hmm. So wondering if is there a way they can compare it up and down?
There are various websites that have speed tests. You can go to these and check your speed and just try it on different computers. So some of your older computers may not be able to take the full speed you have, and your newer computers, they can usually take that full speed. So make sure if you do a speed test, make sure your equipment can handle the speed that you're receiving, because sometimes that is an issue. But yeah, there's plenty of places to go and check that speed.
Chris, one, you had pointed out one of the main differences we have is fiber to the home.
Correct.
And someone was wondering, and I know I hear a lot of people say, well, I have DSL or something. What is the difference? What makes fiber and how much faster is it?
Well, fiber, of course, is glass, so it's fiber optics, and light is transmitting at the speed of light in the glass. So that is fast. So that's really the difference, whereas with DSL, that's on copper lines. And there's resistance on copper, so there's only a certain amount of speed that will go through there. Plus, with copper, over time, there's a bit of corrosion that may take place, so that actually will slow down service as well.
And this one actually ties into it. We talked about it's light, correct? That's what fiber runs on. I know we've made some posts about it on our social media pages about splicers. And that's what actually helps get that light. What is it? Because some people we talk about, well, I've seen a crew up the road. What are they doing in that truck? So what is a splicing crew? What are they doing in that little truck?
So yeah, the truck with the trailer. So with that, there's splicers that literally are splicing individual fibers together. That's what's required in order to get fiber to each home. So inside that trailer, the splicer will go, he'll take the line, he'll lay it out. It does it clean and neat, and there's a lot of prep process that's required. But once he's complete, all the fibers will be spliced together. They'll be able to provide the service to the home again, and then they'll set that back up on the pole and then move on to the next location.
And they have air conditioning, which is pretty nice this time of year.
It is needed this time of year.
Definitely. One was, okay, so somebody was asking about those fibers, and this is a good question. So we said we have all those little tiny fibers, and that looks like a power line, but it's not, but it's the same thing. It looks like it. So are they does each house have their own fiber line? Is that how that works?
Absolutely, that's correct. So each home will get their individual fiber. So your home, your business, everyone does get the individual fiber to the house.
Someone had a question. I know one of the things we did in the beginning was expedite the launching of the fiber drops, the going off the main lines and going to the homes. And someone was asking, what's the time difference in getting that box on the side of their house, also known as NID?
Correct.
It's a nice little guy.
Nice little fellow.
It's a good guy to have around. If that little NID in the fiber drop, what all has to happen for that actually to be coming on? Because it doesn't necessarily mean they're getting internet right then, correct?
That's correct. That's correct. So what we wanted to do is get our network out, get it built as quickly as possible. So we do have to do that in stages, which it is time consuming. So what we realized is as the mainline fiber was being placed, we could go ahead and start placing the fiber service drops to the customer's home, place the little gray fella, the NID, on the side of the house as well. So once that's placed, the main line fiber is placed, the splicer in their trailer with air conditioning will then come in, splice everything up, and then we're taking a couple of steps out of the process. So we actually are making the installation quicker by doing that. So once again, once the NID is placed on the house, what's the time frame? It really depends on where the splicers are and where we are in lighting up that section or that zone the customer's in.
Someone was asking our speeds. We have a good variety, 200, the 200, 500?
200, 500,
and the 1 gig, which
is,
sounds like a lot.
That is 1,000.
What would maybe an average house need, or what would be the need for a gig? Because some people are not sure what to get because they may not have had that speed. So which should they start off at one, or if they have a certain lifestyle, like a gamer, should they do a bigger package? Because most people just aren't sure about that.
Absolutely, and that's a great question. So your smart TVs, your HD TVs, each television runs about 25 megabits, I believe, if you're watching a high-definition movie. So when you start looking at how many televisions you have, how many children you have, do they all have a smartphone? Do they have some type of computer device? All these items start pulling bandwidth away from the service. Nowadays, you have washers and dryers that are connected by Wi-Fi. Your dishwasher, your refrigerator, all those items start pulling bandwidth. So it really depends on how many items you have in your house.
I need something to get the clothes in the washing machine. Can I do that with the Broadband?
We're still working on that.
I was checking, Chris, the other day. I had 21 devices hooked to my internet service at home. So you could be surprised at how many things you got connected. Maybe in my neighbor's connection stuff. I don't know.
It may be.
Might want to check that neighbor.
I need to.
Question, somebody was asking about the equipment. We do provide a router, correct?
That's correct.
And the difference between, some people aren't sure the difference is just between internet and Wi-Fi, what the actual difference is. Some people think, well, if I have internet in my house, I have wireless.
Absolutely. So we have what we call as our residential gateway. That's a quality residential gateway which is providing the service to your home. So you can actually plug into the residential gateway to get your fastest speeds. So if you don't plug in, then you also have the ability to have Wi-Fi service. And with the Wi-Fi service, of course, it's then sending the signal throughout your home. And of course, as the installations take place, the installers do confirm that the signal is going throughout the home, and we do have extenders, access points that are available as well in order to get the larger houses.
My son likes to directly connect in with his Xbox.
Yes.
Says it goes a lot faster. So.
Absolutely.
Question as well about some of those who are outside of the main core that may want to be activated later as we get to that 35% take rate. How could they get some information? Do we have things we can hand out for them to get to their neighbors and their neighborhoods?
As a matter of fact, we do. So we have information, literature that's available here. If you were to call in or email, we'd be glad to coordinate getting the information to you, where you can in turn get that information to your neighbor, get them signed up. And that's part of the stuff we're looking at is active zone activation or area activation. So as the neighborhoods grow, as the service the service requests or continue to grow, we're actually able to build into that area. So that'd be fantastic.
want to sneak one last one in. Someone was asking if they have an underground service going to their home. So, from the pole, from the road to their house, how do we do that? Is there a charge for us to trench that or get that to NID on their house?
Right now in the phase 1 core project, no, there's not, because we're only going so far beyond, outside where we're building the mainline fiber. So we did anticipate and knew we had underground services, but we'll come down, we'll build the overhead to the pole, come down the pole, and go underground. Usually we'll follow where the power is, but sometimes we may go around, whichever's best around the road to get there, but that's no problem.
Actually, we do have time for one last one that just snuck in. I lied. Somebody was asking about our techs. When they do come in the home, for those who might be concerned about COVID, do we have masks for them that they would wear if they need to?
Yeah, you want?
Yeah. Yeah, so as a matter of fact, we do. So our techs, when they do arrive at your home, they'll be wearing a mask. And certainly as the homeowner, if you'd like, you can step aside. You can watch what they do. Stay, keep a 6 to 10 foot distance away from them. But absolutely, your safety is the most important to us in this situation. So booties will be wearing on their shoes, keep your floors clean. But also they'll be doing masks. And after that, they'll be doing, they're sanitizing their hands. So absolutely.
All right, that's all the questions I have, or well, we have time for. I'm sure there's a lot more questions out there, but that's all I have for now.
Thank you for the update on Central Access, Mr. Jimmy and Mr. Chris. For those who have been tuned into this session, here's how to receive your $10 bill credit. Please be ready to write down this information. As a reminder, only one bill credit per member. You will need the code ACCESS for the following steps. Text the word ACCESS to 833-494-0823. Again, text the word ACCESS to 833-494-0823. Or you can visit www.surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit to be guided through a series of questions. Again, that's www.surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit and enter the code ACCESS. The code ACCESS will expire at the start of the next session, which begins at 5:30 p.m. As a reminder, only one bill credit per member. For those who've been tuned into this session, here's how to receive your $10 bill credit. You will need the code ACCESS for the following steps. Take the word ACCESS to 833-494-0823. Again, text the word ACCESS to 833-494-0823. Or you can visit www.surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit to be guided through a series of questions. Again, that's www.surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit and enter the code ACCESS. As a reminder, the code ACCESS will expire at the start of the next session, which begins at 5:30 p.m. Welcome to Central Alabama Electric Cooperative's 2020 virtual annual meeting. We are excited to have you join us today. Make sure to stay tuned until the end of this session to find out how to get your $10 bill credit. If you have entered a code from another session, there is no need to enter one again, as there is only one $10 credit per member. We will begin momentarily with our segment entitled Broadband Availability and Your Role. These virtual sessions are designed to be interactive, and we want to hear from you. You can text your questions to 334-595-9535 or email them to communications@coop.caec.com. Now, let's learn about your role in broadband availability from Alabama Rural Electric Association's VP of Public Affairs, Sean Strickler, and Julia Young, CAEC's VP of Administrative Services.
Hi, welcome to this segment. I'd like to also welcome Sean Strickler. We're happy to have you today.
I'm thrilled to be here. This is our first real virtual annual meeting. You guys are doing a great job.
It is. Well, thank you. So, Sean, we have a couple of video appearances, and I'd like for you to maybe let our audience know who they'll see in just a moment.
Well, if they're tuning into the videos like this or any type of webcast, they know that an election's coming up. And we've got the two running for the United States Senate, our incumbent Doug Jones and the Republican nominee Tommy Tuberville. What a huge opportunity for the members to be able to hear what these two candidates have to offer. And what a great get for Central Alabama. It just shows the importance of your co-op, of Central Alabama and their involvement with the community, that these two would take time out of their busy schedule with campaigning and Doug Jones running the country to cut a video to talk to all of your members. So
that's right. So without further ado, let's take it away.
Hey folks, really appreciate the opportunity to address the Central Alabama Electric Cooperative. I've met with you guys so many times. I appreciate all you do for rural Alabama, for the customers you serve, for everyone in your area. It is not just about the power. It is about community. And as you know, I've been working on rural broadband since I got elected to the Senate. I am so proud of the fact that that is something that all our rural electric co-ops are working on. It is incredibly important. From the time I first hit the Senate, it has been one of my number one priorities. We were able to get hundreds of $millions in the Department of Agriculture budget just for rural broadband last year, the year before. Since I got in the Senate, we put a lot of money in there. We've got more things pending right now, and it's going to be up to us to try to make sure it gets things done. This pandemic has really put a spotlight on the need for broadband across the state. Not just broadband, but good high-speed broadband that's not only accessible, but affordable. And that's where you guys come in. You're working every day to do just that. And I'm doing that too as your United States Senator. A couple of things that we've got going on right now. For instance, I'm a co-sponsor of a bipartisan bill called the Access to Broadband Act. That's going to kind of create an office that will put all the resources of the federal government into one area. It's kind of like the way FDR did the Rural Electric Cooperatives Administration, which I know you guys are familiar with. I want to see that with broadband, and I think that this Access Broadband Act will do just that. Try to make sure we streamline government to get broadband out there as quickly and as accessible and affordable as possible. Another thing that I worked on with, I think is going to help in the broader sector, is my healthcare manufacturing bill. You know, I've seen so many of our rural communities where there are empty buildings, empty factories of businesses that have left, gone overseas or whatever. We can bring healthcare manufacturing jobs back to Alabama, to America, if we do it the right way, if we provide healthcare incentives. I wrote a letter to the governor a couple of months ago when I saw the need, the long-term need for masks, for ventilators, for all of the things in the healthcare space. We've got so many things that we can do to repurpose old buildings, older factories to make healthcare manufacturing. So my healthcare manufacturing bill would do just that, give incentives to bring back those jobs to America. But it goes a little farther than just incentives to do it. It also provides money and incentives to communities for broadband, because we know how important broadband is going to be for businesses. It's not just healthcare and telemedicine, it is also the businesses. It is the new electricity, and businesses are going to be required to have it. Folks, recently I was really proud to support legislation that's really going to give electric co-ops like yours the flexibility to meet current economic needs. In this pandemic, everybody is under stress. We've got a bill that will help with restructuring loans, doing those kind of things that will help you, save you money, and help us get through this pandemic. Everything that you stand for, everything that your business stands for, everything that your community stands for is something I have been fighting for every day since I got in the United States Senate. Not a day goes by, folks, where I'm not talking about rural health care, where I'm not talking about broadband, where I'm not talking about maternal health care and infant mortality, where I'm not talking about businesses coming in to the rural parts of Alabama, not just our big urban centers. We've got to lift all boats. That's what I've been doing. I was very proud, I don't know if you guys knew this, that the United States Chamber of Commerce recognized me as one of the most bipartisan senators and also gave me the Abraham Lincoln Award for support of the free enterprise system. Now, candidly, in light of all those crazy TV ads you're seeing these days, please remember that when you're seeing it, that the Chamber of Commerce says I'm a champion of the free enterprise system. I'm very proud of those awards. I'm very proud of the work we're doing and the record that we have there. And I'm so happy to have been invited to speak to you today and having met with you guys and appreciate all the work you're doing. You know our office is always open. I need your help. I'm looking forward to another 6 years working with all the rural electrics in Alabama to do all that we can for the rural parts of our great state. Thank you all very much. Have a great virtual meeting.
Hello, Coach Tommy Tuberville, U.S. Senate candidate for the state of Alabama. You know, I'm a Christian, conservative Republican. I believe in the United States of America. I believe in our Constitution. I believe that this country was built on Christian values, moral values. The three things that I truly believe in this country that we've got to get back to is self-responsibility, moral values, and work ethic. And it starts in education. So I'm a true believer in the country, in the state of Alabama. I believe we've got a lot of problems, but I still believe that if you're born in this country, you hit the lottery, because there's no better place on the face of the earth than the United States of America. Broadband is the future of this country and the entire world. You've got to be connected, but everybody's got to be connected, not just a few. We have 800,000 people in the state of Alabama today that are not connected to the internet, that have no broadband. And until we get the opportunity for each and every citizen in the state and in this country to be connected, you're going to have groups of people that are going to lag behind in education, in business, in anything that they try to do. So it is important everybody has the same opportunities. I used to tell my players this in football. Everybody wanted an edge. But the thing about it is, at the end of the day, this country owes you one thing. It owes you an opportunity. And that's the reason we need to give everybody the same opportunity, whether it's education, business, communication, working with different people, with different groups, doesn't make any difference. Everybody needs to be able to be connected virtually and also to the internet and anything else that is invented in the near future, because this stuff this broadband that we're with today changes constantly. I think as U.S. Senator, we're going to have a huge impact on broadband and anything that happens virtually for young people from now on. And again, it's going to change daily. I talked to a CEO in one of the major technology corporations just recently, and he basically said, Coach, we've just invented the wheel when it comes to the internet and to technology. Things will change, and it's going to change by the minute, and it's going to give our kids and the people of this country and around the world to be connected better, more often, more quickly, and to learn from each other. So I think it's important for a U.S. Senator to get involved in internet all across the country, rules and regulations. I think there's going to be a huge talk about that in the future. in Washington, D.C. I think state government's mostly important when it comes to getting broadband put down in the counties and the cities and the rural areas and urban areas in the state of Alabama. That's going to be their number one priority and should be. But I think U.S. senators, in terms of grants and opportunities to be able to get money to come to the states to help in any way in some of the tougher areas, which we have some tough areas in this state to get broadband to, I think that could be addressed from Washington, D.C. Broadband in the rural areas is going to be a major factor in the recovery from this virus. Thing you got to remember too, this is one virus. There's thousands of them out there. When's the next one going to hit? So we got to continue to lean on communication in the rural areas for farmers, for small business, for manufacturing. That's going to come back hopefully from China and other foreign countries in the next few years when President Trump gets reelected. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities, but again, the communication of people in the rural areas to people in the urban areas is vitally important, and it all starts with broadband.
So Sean, I feel like we were very privileged to have comments from both of our Senate candidates, but tell me, why is our Senate race so important?
Well, Julie, it's not just our Senate race and these candidates that are important. The United States Senate, as many say, it's the club of 100. It's the 100 most powerful people, not in this country, but in the world. They govern everything that goes on for the most powerful nation this world has ever seen. So this one's important, but they're all important. So we need our folks to go out and vote. Rural America, they were the deciding factor in the last election, the presidential election. They probably will be again in this presidential election. This one coincides with what we're going to see in November, and I hope you all enjoyed those videos, because everyone watching this is going to see nothing but videos like this until November.
That's true. That's true. Well, so tell me, how do we, as citizens, and particularly the co-op members, how do we make sure that our voice for rural Alabama is there at the table?
Well, you know, we've got to go out and we've got to raise our voices and we've got to be heard. One of the things that we can do is we can be involved in a political action committee. We can be involved, just like what we had, the Action Committee for Rural Electrification, which unfortunately the media is given a bad name. The media says, oh, it's a PAC, they bribe, they do this. No, what a PAC is a political action committee of a group of people that have a common interest. The Action Committee for Rural Electrification has a common interest of rural Alabama and rural America. What we do is we go out and endorse candidates and be involved in elections for people who understand our program and understand our plight. Things are tough in rural America right now.
That's true.
It's the first time in our country's history we've seen rural communities lose population.
Right.
We've got to be involved at every level. We've got to be involved at the grassroots level, where those of you that are watching this can reach out to your senators, your House members, and talk to them about the issues that are important to you. We as cooperatives need to talk to our senators and to our House members at the federal and state level. You know, we've got their ears, you can tell by the videos that we've gotten. We're an important player with them, but we have to stay involved. We have to stay abreast of the issues.
We do. And speaking of that, we're right there at the table year before last, or last year, I guess, when CAEC helped us, along with other friends and partners, but we were there for the broadband bills that were up before our state legislature.
Well, not only were we up front, we were in charge. We were leading the charge to try to make sure that you guys had the opportunity to be able to create central access. House Bill 400, the High-Speed Internet Accessibility Act, Broadband Accessibility Act, created the way for central access to just be created in Central Alabama Electric Cooperative, to be able to go out there and bring high-speed internet to the members out there. Obviously, it's important because your first virtual annual meeting's got 2 segments on it. So it was a big deal, and it was a great opportunity to be a part of. And you know, not only House Bill 400, but Senate Bill 90. It changed the way the grant process at ADECA is going to where we have the ability to go out into these rural areas where for-profit companies, it doesn't make any sense to provide internet to them. So through Senate Bill 90 and ADECA, the Department of Economic and Community Affairs, they've got a lot of grants that you guys know really a lot about.
We do. We got 8 of those grants that we applied for, over $4 million in grant funds that will be coming from the state of Alabama and helping us extend that broadband into the rural areas of our service territory. So we're very excited about it. That will get kicked off very soon. Those grant areas are in the engineering phase right now, so construction won't be too far behind.
Well, and the one thing the membership needs to know about with those grants is it's not just the state paying for it. The state in those grants, the most the state's going to pay is 35% of the entire grant project. So Central Access and Central Alabama Electric Cooperative have a lot of skin in the game.
We do.
You got to make sure that it's done right and done appropriately, and you know that we're out there doing what's best for the members and serving them and finding a way to bring them to the 21st century.
That's right. But there's also the federal grants. We've applied for some federal grants. One, the Reconnect program, and then the RDOF grants as well. So we don't know the answers to those yet. We haven't heard yet, but we've got the bid in.
Well, we're hoping that these new grants with the RDOF and the Reconnect are much more effective than some of the grants that we've had in the past. There's billions of dollars that are going to be spent over the next 10 years through these grants to bring high-speed internet to rural areas. But what a lot of people probably don't realize is there's been billions of dollars already spent to try to bring broadband to rural areas. But I think the programs that are in place now and the involvement of the co-ops is going to totally change the way that this is looked at. And I think we're going to be much more successful than we have been in years past.
Well, now the co-ops can actually apply for those federal dollars, which we were not allowed to do in earlier rounds.
Yeah. There are certain telecommunications companies out there that had a little upper hand, as you might say, with these grants. But these grants are going to be effective. We're going to see more and more cooperatives, more and more people involved in this doing the right thing.
Right, right. And so we have a new grant program that's fresh out of the book, you might say.
It is setting world records for government grants. It's the ABC for Students grant. It is using CARES Act money to pay for broadband access to students that get free and reduced lunch that are involved in that program. Started about 3 weeks ago and is going to come out of the gates where people will see whether or not they're eligible for that, I think next week.
Right. I think letters are supposed to go out from ADECA in just a couple of weeks. I mean, everybody will be notified in a few weeks. And, you know, so as we can connect to the home, fiber to the home, we'll have that opportunity to do so.
Well, and the one thing that we have to look at with broadband is not only accessibility through these ADECA grants for infrastructure, but affordability.
Right.
We need to make sure that everyone out there can afford this because certain people shouldn't be able to get it and other people not.
That's true.
We've got to find ways as a society to make sure everyone has access to information.
Right, and it is through grant programs that we can do that. So I understand that we've got a couple of questions that have come in.
Yes, someone was asking, you guys discussed a lot about the national with big Senate race coming up, but what can someone do locally at the individual level, especially with schools, the COVID, broadband not being available? What can the local person do here to make a difference?
Well, one of the things, as this segment says, everyone has a role in this. And so as far as the cooperative is concerned, I would encourage people to talk with their county commissioners, talk with their Board of Education, their superintendent, because we've been able to, in Elmore County in particular, to have a partnership where we are putting Wi-Fi access out there. So we can't get fiber to every home yet, but we can help with some Wi-Fi areas in community places.
Well, the one thing at the state that they're doing is, I've mentioned this name before, is Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs, ADECA. They've got a website up that will test the speed of your internet access, and that's where we find out where grants can go. So go to their website, just Google ADECA, go to their website and take that speed test. Let them know that what they're saying you have isn't really what you have when it comes to internet access.
Right.
The other thing you'll find on that ADECA website is something that everyone needs to do. Take a few minutes and fill out your census form.
Yes.
Billions of dollars come to Alabama based on our population.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, it looks like we may not lose just one congressional seat, but if we're as low as we are right now with the return on the census, we could lose two.
I know.
That's a big deal.
It is. It is. Thank you so much for joining this segment. And Sean, thank you for being here with our virtual meeting.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks.
Thank you for the information, Julie and Sean. For those who have been tuned into this session, here's how to receive your $10 bill credit. Please be ready to write down this information. As a reminder, only one bill credit per member. You will need the code ACRE for the following steps. Text the word ACRE to 833-494-0823. That's ACRE to 833-494-0823. Or you can visit surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit to be guided through a series of questions. Again, that's surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit and enter the code ACRE. This code will expire at the start of the next session, which begins at 6:00 p.m. For those who've been tuned into this prior session, here's how to receive your $10 bill credit. Please be ready to write down this information. As a reminder, only one bill credit per member. You will need the code ACRE for the following steps. Text the word ACRE to 833-494-0823. Again, text the word ACRE to 833-494-0823. Or you can visit surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit to be guided through a series of questions. Again, that's surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit and enter the code ACRE. As a reminder, the code ACRE will expire at the start of the next session, which begins at 6:00 p.m. Welcome to the business portion of Central Alabama Electric Cooperative's 2020 virtual annual meeting. We are excited to have you join us today. Make sure to stay tuned until the end of this session to find out how to get your $10 bill credit. If you have entered a code from another session, there is no need to enter one again, as there is only one $10 credit per member. We will get started momentarily with our business meeting, but we want you to know you can submit questions. If you do have questions, you can text them to 334-595-9535 or email them to communications@coop.caec.com. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Performing for us today is 8-year-old Aditi Shiem from Montgomery.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Now it is time for our business meeting. Presiding over this session is Charles Bird, Chairman of the Board of Trustees.
Thank you, Brandon. Good evening. I'm Charles Bird, Chairman of your Cooperative's Board of Trustees. I'd like to call the 2020 annual meeting of the Central Alabama Electric Cooperative to order. According to Article 3, Section 3.04 of the Cooperative Bylaws, a quorum for any meeting of the members will be determined by the registration of both members mailing in their ballots and those attending in person, not previously registered. In the first few days after sending out the mail-in ballots, we met and exceeded the quorum of 1,043, and since the meeting is being held and conducted virtually, we have not had a member participate that had not previously mailed in their ballot. We have 3,710 total members participating in this year's meeting. Since we have a quorum, I call the 2020 annual members meeting to order and ask that you rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by CAEC board member Terry Mitchell.
Ladies and gentlemen, please face the flag. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Terry. Tonight's invocation will be led by CAEC board member, Mr. Van Smith. Let us pray.
Our kind and most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the day and we thank you for the blessings that we so often take for granted. Dear God, we pray that as we serve those around about us, that we will truly have their interest in mind and we will represent them in a way that will be pleasing to you and pleasing to our members. Dear God, as we have so many that are sick, we pray for their healing. We pray for those that wait upon them. We pray for the families that wait with anxiety and worry. We pray that you will heal them as you see fit and help those that wait as they are being healed. Dear God, as we serve others, let's be mindful of the needs that they have and always respect the wants and desires that they have
preside over business, may we do it in a manner that will be pleasing to you, and then we give you all the praise and the glory for all that you do. We ask this in your precious Son's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Van. It may be obvious why we are meeting, why we are not meeting in person, and the board did not make this decision lightly, because we believe it is important that you, the member, should be involved in your cooperative business. Due to the time it takes to plan and notify the membership, and unable to see the future, we decided to make the call to utilize technology to still conduct this meeting. Fortunately, having introduced mail balloting 13 years ago, so voting, registration, and participation could be accomplished by more members, thus meeting the quorum. So, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to Central Alabama Electric Cooperative's 81st annual meeting, and its first such meeting held virtually, something that will likely be added to our member event going forward. As many of you know, our annual meeting is an important event each year. It is normally a time when we can have the opportunity to visit with friends and neighbors, but most important, that it is time for us as member owners to conduct the business of the cooperative. As trustees, we work for you. We too are member owners of the cooperative. And just as you do, we purchase electricity from our co-op. It is with great pleasure that I introduce the other 8 trustees who serve with me on your Board of Trustees. District 2, our Secretary-Treasurer, Mark Presnell Sr. of Wetumpka. District 3, Patsy Holmes of Wetumpka. District 4, our most recent past chairman of the board, Terry Mitchell of Stewartville. In District 5, our newest board member, Nicole Law of Rockford. And District 6, Jimmy Harrison of Maplesville.
District 31st, 2019. It issued our report dated April 17th, 2020. Our report was an unmodified report, which is the highest report that we can render as an independent CPA firm. I can report that we found the books and records to be in excellent condition. Your cooperative had assets of $268 million as of December 31st, 2019, and continues to grow in financial strength. Your cooperative continues to be one of the strongest in the state, in my opinion. For the year ended December 31st of 2019, assets increased $17 million over the past year, mainly in the area of distribution plant, which increased $15 million. The cooperative's equity to asset ratio, which is a measure of financial strength, continues to be excellent at 40% and consistent with the prior years. Existing long-term debt was paid down by $5.8 million during the year, and new debt with Cooperative Financial Cooperative was taken out in the amount of $5 million. This past year, your cooperative saw revenues increase by about 2% over the previous year, and the cost of power stayed basically unchanged from the previous year as a percentage of revenue. Overall operating expenses, excluding depreciation and cost of power, increased due to right-of-way tree trimming and the new fiber ring installation. Operating margins for the year were $4 million compared to $5 million in the previous year. And during the year, capital credits of $1.5 million were retired for the year, up over the previous year of $1.3 million. The cooperative accounting systems and procedures are well designed and comprehensive. We found everything to be done on a timely basis, and and accurate financial information is being provided to your Board of Trustees and management, who have oversight over your cooperative's finances. The cooperative is in compliance with all of its procedures, contracts, and agreements. Your board continues to manage your cooperative in a manner that results in continued financial stability and growth in the present, while positioning your cooperative for the financial challenges of the future. We appreciate the opportunity to be of service to the cooperative and be the accounting auditing firm for the cooperative. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate that great report. Now, It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the President and CEO of your cooperative, Mr. Tom Stackhouse, for a few comments. Tom?
Thank you, Chairman Byrd. I do appreciate you and the other trustees for the dedication and service to your communities. Not only do you make this job enjoyable, but I am always inspired by your concern for the effect we have on every member and the fervor in which you roll up your sleeves to improve the opportunity for others. Thank you. As we were honoring the service of Mr. Johnson, I thought about his dedication and intense interest in acquiring knowledge and understanding. When we reported to the board, we could usually expect a question or comment from Mr. Johnson about the report or recommendation. He was well read on many subjects and often had insight to add. He understood the importance of how a member-owned electric cooperative brings value to the community and the significance of forward thinking to improve the lives of our members. Although he was always supportive, he was not happy about not having the annual meeting in person because he knew the importance of being present with our members and talking with them. After all, it's your cooperative, and our primary purpose is to serve our members. Along with his fellow trustees, he was convinced that a reliable, cost-effective electric distribution system was no longer enough to build a solid, sustaining community. At last year's meeting, we talked about a new fiber project that your cooperative had launched and how reminiscent it was 80 years ago when electricity energized the first member's home. Little did we realize last August that the timing, pre-COVID, and the need for fast, reliable broadband service would get so much attention a few months later. The first fiber optic cable was installed at CAEC facilities in August 2019. And today, nearly 1,300 families and businesses are already up and running with lightning speed broadband, and nearly 700 miles of fiber is in place. The actual fiber being in place is only the first step to building a broadband delivery system. Every cable has to be spliced to another. Electronic equipment that directs the lights to the right location has to be in place. And the delivery equipment at the premise requires installation. And like most massive but exciting undertakings, the process takes time to complete. We often get the question, why can't we provide service as soon as the lines pass a home? First, the main cable that passes your home or business serves as both the bulk delivery, which has to be terminated at one of the 27 terminal locations on the system, then other fibers within the same cable deliver the service back to your premise. Our goal for this first phase was to build the initial core to connect all 24 cooperative electric substations and 6 offices. This is nearing completion. This also provided the initial platform for central access to extend and serve the members past in the first phase, or what you will hear us talk about as the core. This first 700 miles of fiber are passing over 10,000 homes and businesses. Our goal was to have commitments from 35% of those services in order to have a strong business model in the future. We believe that will happen soon. In addition, the nearly 1,300 served now, we have another 1,800 in the initial project that have committed to taking the service once it is available. We are close to the 35%. Although we have not reached all our members yet, we are closer than we were yesterday. We realize there are physical limitations to how quickly we can build this system, but it continues to be our goal to reach all members. However, we discovered there were other opportunities for us to offer support with the resources we do have. We identified partners in the county and schools we serve to help them in the process of strategically installing Wi-Fi hotspots in locations where you drive up and have access to broadband service. We have even been able to help coordinate these locations in areas that we do not serve with other broadband providers. Well, I could spend a lot more time talking about the fiber broadband project, but I do make myself as well as others here available if you or a community group would like to spend time talking about it. However, we are still in the business to deliver electricity. So please stay tuned to our communications to you about the fiber project. If you have questions, please let us know. But I do have a few thoughts about the electric cooperative. We are currently experiencing an increase in growth for the electric services. As a reminder, many of the same employees who build, maintain, and provide service for the electric side are also involved in the fiber. So, the communication system is treated with as much passion for service as is our electric service that we provide you. In the next few months, staff will develop a budget for 2021, which we will present to the board. Our focus begins with the highest level of reliable service we can practically achieve. Whether it is keeping your power on or doing power restoration, answering your questions regarding service or billing, helping someone receive service for the first time, or spending time with members to help them use energy more efficiently, we strive to keep the service high and the cost affordable. We find that working with other cooperatives, we are able to have better control of our cost and our destiny. For example, the energy we deliver to you is either generated or purchased through purchase much of our material we use from a material cooperative that serves many of the electric cooperatives in the southeast United States. And when things get political, we gather with 22 Alabama cooperatives in state fairs and 900 in the U.S. when a federal issue develops. Locally, your cooperative is involved in many activities to help communities thrive and provide opportunity for employment. commerce, activities that improve quality of life. We partner with many Chamber of Commerce, economic development, and civic organizations. We also support our schools, teachers, and students to help them be successful. We are local. Your families, as well as ours, depends on how well we do our job. Each greatly affects the communities we all live in. We are very serious about what we do. We are first and foremost your cooperative, and we are a corporate member of our communities. We strive to do what promotes and enhances our communities for all citizens. It is the drive of the CAEC board and employees that makes this cooperative the outstanding organization that it is. Last week, our employees celebrated an ACSI score of 86. This is an incredible score. We receive these scores from the American Customer Satisfaction Index each quarter from ongoing surveys conducted on our behalf. Now, I know surveys are not a favorite, but they're conducted by phone and online, and we are able to compare our service to our members with other companies that you're familiar with. For example, Chick-fil-A, who we usually are in parity with, currently has an 84. Marriott and Hilton, the highest in hotels, have an 80. Amazon Prime Video is an 81. Blue Cross Blue Shield, 71. The average electric cooperative is 73. The average investor-owned utility is a 72. And by the way, the average in the internet service provider industry is a 65. We will not stand for that. I share all these numbers to say that I am proud of this score, but even more, I am proud of the employees who make it happen, and that our members recognize that they have our utmost attention, which is reflected in everything we do. It does not happen by accident. It takes employees who are invested and truly believe in the cooperative way. It is a pleasure to serve you, the members of Central Alabama Electric Cooperative, and we are thankful for your constant encouragement, understanding, and the excitement of what your cooperative and our children, Isaac and his wife Kim, Becca, and Tora, for their support. Our children grew up at cooperative annual meeting and see the effort made to make it about you, the member. Amy and our adult children keep me always mindful of what is most important in life. And I cherish every opportunity we have to live life together. '29 as a CEO, 23 of those here at this cooperative. Although our meeting looks very different this year, the purpose of the meeting has not changed. It is to report to you your cooperative business. With every meeting for 37 years, I feel excited, always nervous before I speak, but gratified to know that we can make a positive difference for those we serve. I am thankful for the opportunity to share with you and appreciate your participation in your business meeting connected in this virtual forum. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate those great comments. We do have Charles Stingley provided the legal support the CAEC was first formed and served as its first attorney. Chris has been with the firm since 1993, and his diverse experiences has already proven to be important for our operations, and he is quickly acclaimed to our demanding and diverse work schedule. We appreciate his professionalism and expertise that he has already provided to us. And right now, Chris, we would ask that you conduct the business portion of our meeting. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that and those kind of words. In accordance with Section 3.06 of the bylaws, the board approved the minutes from last year's August 9, 2019 annual meeting and its August 27, 2019 regular board meeting. These minutes have been made available to members for review and, if necessary, to request that any corrections be on this agenda. No such corrected requests have been made, so the minutes stand as approved by the board. Next, pursuant to the due notice thereof, the Committee on Nominations held their online meeting virtually beginning at 10 a.m. on April 17th. Cooperative members who served on the committee were Robert Arnold, Randy Beasley, Ralph Hickey, Wanda Ivey, and Linda Walker. Randy Beasley was elected as chairman, Wanda Ivey was elected as secretary. The nominations have been posted at the office since May 15th and were part of the official notice of this meeting. The nominating committee nominated for District 1 incumbent Milton Johnson, nominated for District 4 incumbent Terry Mitchell, and nominated for District 6 incumbent Jimmy Harrison. Article 4, Section 4.05 of the bylaws allows for nominations by member petition. None were presented. Due to the passing of Mr. Johnson on June 1st, with little time to qualify and to place another name on the ballot, the board, in accordance with Article 4, Section 4.08 of the bylaws, is in the process of finding a replacement to serve until the 2021 annual meeting. At this time, I'll report on the votes cast by membership for each nominee. Such votes cast for each nominee were as follows. Mr. Mitchell received 3,403 votes. Mr. Harrison received 3,436 votes. I hereby certify that the number of votes cast for each of the two trustees were sufficient and they are duly elected to serve their 3-year terms. In addition, I would also like to report on the votes for the amendments to the bylaws that were part of our cooperative's annual meeting this year. At this time, I would like to certify that the amendments to the bylaws were approved by a vote of 3,043 approving yes for the amendments versus 329 no votes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that report. Now, I believe we have a few questions from our virtual audience.
Yes, Mr. Byrd and Mr. Stackhouse. We do have a question come in, and it was concerning our Central Access Broadband project. And the question that came in was, how are we utilizing the co-op's funds for this project while necessary, and will it impact our rates for the power side?
The facilities that we are, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, did you I saw you on the camera. You're welcome to it. The fiber project, actually the cooperative owns the facilities. So we borrowed the dollars in order to build the facilities because the primary project at this point has been for us to develop our communication system. However, for a little more, we were able to add the capacity in order for Central Access to deliver the broadband to the members. So the broadband itself does not add to the rates that the cooperatives pay for. And actually, to the contrary, as the system grows, we will actually receive revenue from the
first meeting of this manner, so we hope it came across as great as we hope it did. We appreciate all the effort to put this together. And right now, we thank you for coming to our annual meeting tonight. Whether you joined us as employees in person, whether you're out there virtually, we appreciate you tonight. Right now, we'll turn the meeting over to Steve Gray, oversee awarding.
Good evening. Normally, we just have one prize pool. So this is all the registration. We're going to mix them up, and we have a lot of prizes to pull. So, if you hear your name, come on down. We'll give you a prize. But of course, you're not going to be here, but we will get that prize to you. So, all right. We're going to start in order of the smallest to the largest. We have several $50 gift cards, and we'll work our way up 50 to 150 to 500 at the end. So, starting with the $50 gift cards. I got 4 of them, so I'm going to give 4. Go ahead and get 4 names. Save me a few steps back and forth. There's 4 of them. So, if you are Elizabeth Suttle at 1926 County Road 57 in Prattville, you're a winner of a $50 gift card courtesy of Alabama One Credit Union. They have great rates, by the way. Jane Beasley Clements, 1370 County Road 136 in Jemison, Alabama. Another $50 gift card from Alabama One. Walter Lee Newsom, 150 Whispering Pines Circle, Wetumpka, Alabama. Another $50 winner. Joseph Dennis, 11041 River Road in Selma, $50 winner. And Amy, oh my goodness. I'm going to try. Don't get offended if I get this wrong. Pignatro. Pignatro. 3233 County Road 64A in Billingsley, Alabama, $50 gift card. All right, we got several more. Can we go right here? Uh-oh, one flew out. There's several. All right, Clifford Randolph Winslet, 30 Old Lockley Ferry Road in Wilsonville, Alabama, $50. Hey, if you hear your name, text us a comment. Let us know you won. Jeffrey Lee Frey, 2293 US Highway 31 North, just up the road here. $50 gift card. One more $50 gift card, and then we'll double the money. Robert Allen Thompson at 4525 Eastern Hills in Cottondale, Alabama. $50. All right, these go starting with $100 gift cards. Carl William Schaefer at 83073 Tallahassee Highway, New Brunsville, New Braunfels, Texas. Boy, he's a long way away. He's getting $100 to spend there in Texas. Aaron Longcreef, 1291. Mr. Grunlow stamped this one right in the address. McDowell Road, I think. We'll get that. We'll make sure that's right. We got the account number. In Jones, Alabama. It was Aaron Longcrier. Aaron Longcrier. All right. We got 2 more $100 gift cards. Everybody's so quiet here in the audience with us. Billy Raspberry, 6100 County Road 216 in Thorsby, Alabama. 100. Robert D. Kleckler, 475 County Road 358 in Clanton, Alabama. $100. And now we got $350 gift cards to give away. Shuffle them up some more. Get one down in the bottom. Get 2. All right, you got 3 here, so. Betty Salas at 1295 Coosa County Road 77 up in Goodwater, Alabama. $150 gift card. Fred Lavorne, 3054 Redland Road, Wetumpka, Alabama. $150 card. And Lawrence LaBarge, 558 Haynes Road, Wetumpka, Alabama. And the last one is our grand prize for $500. It is Jennifer Denise Coburn, 11222 County Road 49 in Verbena, Alabama. So, congratulations. If you heard your name, we'll contact the office Monday. We'll get those to you. And with that, that concludes our 2020 annual meeting.
Thank you so much for attending our 2020 virtual annual meeting. To receive your $10 bill credit for tuning into this session, get ready to write down this information. As a reminder, only one bill credit per member. You will need the code BUSINESS for the following steps. Text the word BUSINESS to 833-494-0823. Again, text the word BUSINESS to 833-494-0823. Or you can visit surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit to be guided through a series of questions. Again, that's surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit and enter the code BUSINESS. As a reminder, this code will expire in 10 minutes. Annual meeting. To receive your $10 bill credit for tuning into this session, please write down the following information. As a reminder, only one bill credit per member. You will need the code BUSINESS for the following steps. Text the word BUSINESS to 833-494-0823. Again, that's BUSINESS to 833-494-0823. Or you can visit surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit to be guided through a series of questions. Again, that's surveymonkey.com/r/bill credit and enter the code BUSINESS. As a reminder, that code will expire in 10 minutes. Thank you all for attending our virtual meeting.
Kind of ramrod this thing with Chuck's support and help going on.